Hello everybody, this is Brooke aka Supernatural Summer 34 and today we are back at it with another Townie Makeover video. I decided to kick this back up because before I was doing them in sync with when I did the CC free version in my save file, but I've kind of put that on hold, so it's been a while, but I wanted to do it again. We're still going in order of the world, so we're on to Oasis Springs because we finished Willow Creek a couple months ago. But today we made over the Caliente family. We started off with Katrina, who I actually do not like at all. First of all, she shouldn't exist. This is not the Caliente family we deserved in The Sims 4. I fully hold that opinion, and I haven't even played the past games. I just think they should keep the families the same. In fact, I hate that they went the alternate universe route with this game. I didn't know about it for the longest time, but then I watched my first entire history of by Plumbella, and I was in shock at the audacity of the makers of The Sims 4. They've changed so much, and it's absolutely infuriating. But putting aside my hatred for Katrina's existence, after some editing, she's not a bad-looking sim. I really get cougar vibes from her, but that makes sense because Don is her little boy toy and he's a young adult whereas she's an adult. But with everyone's outfits in this makeover, I tried to give them clothing that would fit a very hot world because Oasis Springs is obviously very hot. I actually really struggle with that because I always dress my Sims in clothing that covers them no matter where they live. Like, Marilyn from my Not So Berry Challenge lives in Strangerville, which is extremely hot, and in most of her outfits, she wears long jeans and even some sweaters. She would get really hot, probably even heat stroke hot, but I just think outfits like that are so cute. I decided to go against that style with this makeover, though, and that's a theme I'll continue with all of Oasis Springs. But speaking of heat stroke, I've actually had it before. I went to a county fair one year, and we were out in the sun all day on the hottest day of the year. I was so dehydrated because I don't ever drink water, which I know that's bad, but I was dehydrated and I was so hot that I was nauseous. So everyone went back behind one of the little stands and stood in the shade for about 10 minutes, and I was dry heaving onto the grass. After a little while, my sister started asking to go on the rides again, and my mom said we were taking a break, so no. But my sister whined enough that my mom let her go off. But later we got onto the main attraction. It was this ride that kind of looked like a two-sided hammer, and it spun you around really high in the air. But my sister, our mom's friend's kid, and me all got on the ride. And my sister and I got on fine, but the other girl, who's a couple of years younger than us, got her leg stuck. Her left leg was crossed on top of her right thigh, but the bar came down and trapped it there. So my sister and I started yelling for them to stop the ride because they were getting ready to start it, but they didn't. My mom, who was taking pictures, saw what happened and stopped the ride, thankfully, because the other girl would have definitely broken her leg had that ride not been stopped in time. That situation is the reason I have not been to a fair since, because it is ridiculous that they weren't listening to two kids screaming, "Don't start the ride, her leg is stuck." And then later that day we started to go home, but my sister got a bloody nose in the car. My mom started going faster because we didn't have any tissues or anything to stop the blood flow, and she was speeding. A cop noticed and pulled us over. He did the whole spiel of, "Did you know how fast you were going?" And my mom explained the situation. The cop said that he was going to look her up in the system or whatever they do, and took a half hour to do so. My sister had blood all over herself, and the cop was just doing his thing. Right before he let my mom off with a warning, though, he gave me a sticker of a police badge, and I got really excited. I was showing my sister the sticker the entire ride home, because stickers at the time were just about the best things the world had to offer. But we've actually moved on to Dina, who is my favorite of the Caliente sisters, despite her cheese hair. Dina always gave me the vibe of a really sweet girl, and for the longest time I didn't know her history of being a flirt. I'd always thought that Dina was the rock that keeps Katrina and Nina from going too far, but after watching Plumbella's entire history of episode on them, I realized that Dina is just as bad. I'm pretty sure Dina is the one that seduced Mortimer Goth after the disappearance of his wife, which, by the way, there's a time, a place, and a person, so maybe don't do that. But I thought Dina was more of a secretive flirt. I think she's the kind of girl who had a million crushes in high school and was always taking those quizzes to see if her and her current crush would work out. She's also probably the kind of girl who takes them to heart. And speaking of hearts, any heart clothing I saw, I tried to put on her. I don't think too many of her outfits actually ended up having them, though. But Dina comes together pretty quickly because I have made her over about 1,000,000 times, and it's usually the same idea. I gave her the pufferhead stuff pack hair, which I think really suits her, especially the dusty pink tips. In 8th grade, I actually got streaks in my hair that were that color, but they washed out after about a day, just because my hair was also blonde like hers. Now my hair is purple, like fully purple, and I've been told so many times that I look better with darker hair, which is ironic considering how long I've been bleaching my hair to keep it from getting darker. But now we've moved on to Nina, who I actually think turned out pretty cute. At first she had these lips that made it look like she had lip fillers, and I changed that because I didn't think it did her any favors. Nina has a pretty wide head for some reason, so off camera I kind of shrank it down a bit, just because it looked kind of alien. Forgive the irony, but I know in The Sims 4 they don't have any alien ancestry because aliens are not in The Sims 4 base game. Speaking of aliens, I think those are my least favorite occults gameplay-wise. Like, they look really cool, but aside from having some mind control powers, they can't really do much. I don't play with occults in The Sims 4 very often anyway, though. Most of the time, if I do play an occult, it's a half-alien, because they can have human-looking babies. Full aliens will always have half-alien babies, but with a half-alien, there's a pretty good chance that the baby will turn out fully human, which is useful for legacies where you don't want your heir to be an occult. It's like being an alien without the commitment. But I think the other occult I've played with the most often is vampires, which are also really cool. The first time I played with a vampire was when I was playing Not So Very, probably one of my first attempts, and my sim married Caleb Vitor. I didn't know how to feed him, to be honest, because I knew he didn't want to drink people's blood. I found some plasma fruit, but I didn't know how to make it grow. I'm still not entirely sure how to do that, but I'm pretty sure that's what caused me to give up on that attempt. I kind of want to play with some occults, just because they're really interesting. I might start a save where I play with a household full of all of the occults, but I can never have multiple households going at once for some reason. I don't think I'll ever have more than one Let's Play at a time on this channel unless something really, really inspires me to start a family. I know I tried to do the Greek Goddess Legacy Challenge, but I got exactly one episode in before I realized it wasn't going to work. But we're almost done with Nina, who I kind of pictured as a very spoiled person, which fits well with her hot-tempered, or hot-headed and lazy traits, because those are very typical of spoiled people. I actually didn't go with a flirty color like I did with the other two, red and pink, and instead went with a green theme for her. This is because I felt like a warmer color might clash with her hair, because everyone says that redheads can't wear pink and red, which, by the way, I don't really think that's true. Ariel looked amazing in her pink dress, and no one can tell me otherwise. I think most people can pull off any color as long as they like themselves in that color. Except maybe orange. Full-on orange is not cute, I think. But we've moved on to Don Lothario, who ends up looking like a less douchey version of himself, if my memory serves correctly. I feel like Dina has a huge crush on Don, because he's probably only a couple of years older than her. I think the ages of people in this household go as follows. Katrina's around 45, Nina's about 25, Don's maybe 26, and Dina is about 22. I feel like Dina played a sport with Don in high school when he was a senior and she was a freshman, and she was super into him. In between her crushes on other guys, there was always Don. But then Katrina got with him, and I feel like Dina hates her mother for that. It's probably caused a lot of contention in their household, and I mean fair. Katrina is dating someone almost as young as her children, and it's honestly kind of gross. I feel like Don doesn't have genuine feelings for Katrina, though. I think Don is low on money, so he moved in with Katrina for security, and he's completely oblivious to Dina's crush on him. He probably thinks of her like a little sister and might be more interested in Nina. I think Nina wants nothing to do with him, though, because she was probably in the same grade as him and saw the trail of broken hearts he left behind him. She's probably trying to protect Dina from that, but she isn't having it. She's probably one of those girls who thinks she can change a man. She thinks that if only he'll see her as more than a little sister, then he'll stop his heartbreaking ways. He'll change for her. I feel like Dina would read Mafia Boss and Bad Boy stories on Wattpad, if that existed in The Sims. But we are coming up on the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you all soon.